They say timing is everything. The right opportunity at the wrong time doesn't work. The right culture at the wrong stage of life doesn't fit. But when your values align with where you are right now, that's when work feels different. More intentional, more sustainable, more human. I'm Lexi Bartholomew, marketing specialist here at Helpside, and today on It's Personnel, we're talking about something a little more personal: why Helpside works for who we are now. I'm joined by Tannen Turnmeyer from our HR team, someone who sees firsthand how workplace culture impacts people at every stage of life and career. We're diving into growth, seasons of change, professional identity, and how finding the right company isn't just about benefits or job titles, it's about alignment. This episode is brought to you by Helpside. For over 35 years, we've built our business on H2H, human-to-human service, because companies don't grow without people, and people don't thrive without support. So today, this one's a little less policy and a little more perspective. Tannen, let's start here. What season of life do you feel like you're in?
I would think my husband and I are married with no kids, so I'd say the dual income, no kids. We call them dinks. I don't know if you've ever, but that's the era that we're in right now. So we have a lot of fun. We work hard, but we play harder. So
I love that. That's awesome. What do you guys normally do outside of work?
We are definitely the pickleballers for sure. We fit that that for this company. We also are very active. We like the gym, and we go to Topgolf. We're Topgolf members, so we like to go there pretty frequently. Yeah. Super random, but those are some of the things that we like to do outside of work.
So fun. Yeah, I was in that season of life, and then we had a little baby, so life looks a little bit different now. But we also love to play pickleball. Yes. I can't say I'm any good at Topgolf. I'm not good at golfing really. My husband loves to play golf, but I am not great. But that's so fun. That's so
me
awesome.
Too. I'm not good at all. My husband has his own clubs and everything. He goes crazy. And then I am if I can get it past the little thing that they have for your safety, I'm doing good.
The net?
Yeah, literally the net. I'm doing good.
I remember when I went golfing for the first time, and I was like, oh, this is going to be so easy, right? And I literally couldn't even hit the ball. I kept missing it.
I know,
and I was
it's harder than it looks.
That's so embarrassing. I was like, surely it's not that hard. You just literally hit the ball. No, I missed it. So I was like, okay, well, I'm never going here again on a date or anything, because I'm this is not how I look good. But I'm curious, what were you up to 5 years ago, and did you picture yourself being where you are now?
5 years ago, I was on a church mission, and no, I would have never pictured myself in the position that I'm in now, especially because I went to college shortly after my church mission, and I got a degree not even related. I mean, I guess it is kind of related to HR, but it isn't HR focused, and so I would have never pictured myself here 5 years ago.
Where did you go to college, and what degree did you get?
So I went to BYU, and then I got my degree in psychology.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that.
Yeah, it's up the same alley.
Yeah, awesome. No, that's so cool. I also went to BYU. When did you graduate then?
I graduated 2 years ago, 2024. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, we must have graduated the same time, because I'm coming up on 2 years this spring, this April.
Okay, nice. So. Yes, the same thing. That's so exciting. Yeah, I'm glad to be done.
Yes, me too. I actually have nightmares about being in college all the time. And I'm they're like, oh, there's a test or something like that. And I'm like, I have no idea. I haven't prepped for this exam. So it traumatizes me.
Same. I'm right there with you.
But yes, I also did not expect to be here 5 years ago. I would have been in college. Wait, no. Yeah, no, I would have been in college too. And I was just doing a babysitting job. So I was it'd be so cool if I could work in marketing, but I didn't really know what that looked like for me. And if anything, I was surely I'll work for a makeup brand or just something that I felt I was super interested in at the time. But my interests, I think, have just changed over the years. Yes. But when you were job searching, what do you feel you were kind of looking for?
For this particular one, I really actually did want to do something HR based or HR related.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much background you want me to give, but before this job, I was working at a behavioral center for girls aged 12 to 17. And I was thinking with my psychology degree, I was going to go more the route of therapy or like a therapist, some type of thing like that. And then I remember like being more interested in the HR side of things when our HR lady would come out and she was like talking about her processes rather than like handling the issues that all of these children were coming to me with. So after that, I just started job searching and I was definitely going for something more HR.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. I remember when I was job searching and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I was like, again, like my degree was in professional writing and communications and like kind of emphasized like marketing and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
within my classes. But when it came to job searching, it's hard. Like I feel like no one really like teaches you or like
Yeah.
shows you the proper way to job search and like what kind of jobs you'd be interested in. So anyways, I also was just kind of like, I don't really know what I want to
Yeah.
do, but then I came across this job and was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Um, I'm curious, what did you think that your career would look like by now?
Um, I feel like I'm doing better than I thought I would.
Hmm.
I didn't know, and I still feel like every day I'm kind of just like, I can't believe I'm where I'm at. I didn't think I'd have necessarily a full career. I think I thought I'd still be in school, especially because if I was going to go the route that I originally thought I was going to go, it was going to be a little extra school. And so being where I'm at now, I'm actually very proud of myself because I feel like I've kind of established myself in a career that I think I'm going to continue to pursue for a long time. And other than that, that's kind of how I feel. I didn't know. And now that I'm here, I'm like, I'm rocking it. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel the same way. So that's awesome. Did you feel like, or do you still feel like there's pressure to like have everything figured out, like working in your 20s, being in your 20s?
Yes and no. I feel like especially the pressures of the environment is like you are supposed to be, especially as a woman, sometimes it's like you have that pressure to do everything and to always be perfect in a sense. And so I definitely feel that every once in a while, but I also feel like I have a lot of support where I'm like, I don't have to. Maybe I'm just in my head about some things, but
No, I love that. I totally agree. I do feel like sometimes, yes, as like a woman, you kind of are like expected to have everything kind of like figured out, but it's hard to, especially when you're just like trying to, yeah, you're like, I have no idea.
yeah,
I'm trying to figure things out. But yeah, I agree. I feel like there kind of is this pressure, but I feel like working at Helpside, at least for me, has kind of helped me not really like give into that pressure
yes,
because I do feel like it is such a good job. It is so stable. I feel like there's such good like job stability that it's like, okay, I don't really have to like stress too much.
yeah.
What do you feel like has surprised you most about working in your 20s?
Working in my 20s, oh, that's a hard question. Surprised me the most? I would say, oh gosh, that's a hard question. I don't really know. I think it is really fun to work with tons of different individuals in different stages of their life. And that's something that surprised me is like how well I get along with people that like are the same age as my parents. And I just like, they're like my best friends. I don't even
Yeah.
know how to put that. But like some of my
Uh-huh.
coworkers, I'm like, I would love to hang out with them outside of work. Is that appropriate? I don't know. Are they twice my age? Yes. But I feel like we could definitely get along.
Yes. No, I totally agree. I feel like there's a little bit of like imposter syndrome when you're working in your
Yes.
20s. Like when I get asked to handle like a big task or project or something, I'm like, you trust me to do that? And I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, I'm an adult. Like, of
Yes.
course they trust me. But yes, and with relationships and all of that as well, I totally agree. It's like we could totally be friends right now, but it is funny because yeah, I'm like, you're twice my age. But that's one thing I love about Helpside is I feel like everyone is so friendly and
Yes.
everyone is just they don't really care about like what department you work in, how old you are. It's like we can all just be friends and
Yeah.
just hang out, which is great.
The culture is very inviting and very friendly.
Yes, I totally agree. How do you feel like your priorities have shifted as your life has changed? Like
Es-
being married and things like that.
yeah, I was gonna say, especially being married now. The focus was obviously just myself because I didn't have anybody else to rely on, or vice versa, for somebody to rely on me. Now that I'm married, I look at everything not just from my own point of view, but I try to look at it from the point of view of my spouse as well, and how my decisions are going to directly impact them. And so, especially when it came to job searching, it wasn't just like what's going to fit best for me, it was more so then turned to what's going to fit best for my family and my future family. And in a marriage especially, I just think that everything you do impacts the two of you on a different level.
Oh, for sure. What does your husband do for work?
So my husband currently is a server. He's actually still in school.
Okay.
So he's still a student. He'll graduate upcoming in December. And then when he graduates, we'll figure out what he's going to do. But it's more business, finance, and management operations side of things that he's going to be graduating
Awesome.
in.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I remember when my priorities like completely shifted. I feel like there was like a very distinct moment. And when I first got married, I was just doing a babysitting job. And 'cause I was still in college, and I feel like in today's like world of work, they like expect you to just have experience when you were like 1 year
Yes.
old. It's just like, oh yeah, like you need to
Yes.
like, already be working. And so I was doing this babysitting job in college, and I was just like, I don't really know how I'm gonna actually find a job that like has to do with my degree.
Yeah.
But I remember getting married and then being like, okay, I actually need to have like a big girl job that is going to give me some experience, is going to be something I'm really interested in. And so, sorry, you're blurry a little bit, but maybe
That's
it's okay.
okay.
Um, and I remember just applying for Helpside, figuring out that there was a marketing position that was open. And I was like, it'd be so awesome if I got this job. And then I did, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But yes, I totally agree. I was like, I think I need to have a job that like actually has benefits and is actually going to like help me currently, my husband, and
Yeah.
my future family. I actually kind of have like a funny story because when we had our baby, I went to her like pediatrician appointment, and I like handed them the health insurance card. And the lady at the front desk was like, oh, "Okay, like is your husband the policy holder?" And I was like, "No, I am. Like I work, and my baby's under my health insurance, and
Yeah.
my husband's also under my health insurance because my health insurance is better than his." And so I
Winning.
thought, yeah, exactly. I just thought it was funny because they just expect, or yeah, like they just expected that it would be my husband's and that we
Yeah.
would be under his. But I just thought it was kind of like a flex to be like, no, it's mine.
No, it's a
I work
huge
too.
flex. It's a huge
So
flex. And you being a mom too at this point, I mean, especially for you and your husband, there's more pressure to provide because you have
yeah,
another person involved now too.
no, exactly. And it's just funny because my husband, he just started working full time, graduated, and he's literally on my health insurance. Like
Yeah.
he got moved to mine, which is just funny because it's like, again, you would just think, oh, everyone's under the man's or everyone's under the husband's, but it's
Yeah.
like, no, he actually is under mine because my coverage was better, and Helpside
Yeah.
literally covers your monthly premiums. And so it's like, well, yeah, like it was a no-brainer.
Yes.
Of course he would move to mine. So I just thought that was kind of nice.
Yeah.
And I like that Helpside provides that for you because then yeah, you can kind of like support your family and not have to worry about even just paying the monthly premiums for health insurance, which is
Yeah.
great. What do you feel like a good job means to you now?
A good job to me right now means flexibility and work-life balance. And then also, I would say not as much financial pressure in the sense that I feel like I have stability.
Yes, I love that. I like when you said work-life balance and flexibility because I feel like that's such a our generation thing
Yes, it
where
is.
yeah, I totally agree. I'm like, I want to work remote. I want to like not be micromanaged. I just want to like, if I get my work done, then I want a manager that like trusts that I'm doing my work and not
Yeah.
being like, what are you doing right now? Can I give you a random call in the middle of the day?
Yeah.
Just things like that. So yeah, I think flexibility and work-life balance is so important. And I do feel like Helpside does a really good job at that. I think that's why so
Mm-hmm.
many people have stayed at Helpside
Yes.
for so freaking long, is because
Yes.
they understand the work-life balance. Like when I went last week, I love that the doors just like locked at 5 o'clock. It's like, okay, like
Yeah.
see ya, like lights turn off, like leave the office,
Yes.
instead of just being like, oh yeah, like we have people staying here till 11 o'clock at night working. It's like, no, please leave. Like we
Yeah.
want you to leave. So I love that. I think that's great.
I remember when I got hired too, Rochelle told me like our goal is that the second that the day ends, I mean meaning like the work day ends, you no longer even think about anything to do with work. And that for me provided a lot of comfort because I was like, okay, the expectation is that they don't want me to be stressed out about anything that I'm doing outside of work. Like this
Yeah.
is just during work, and if anything plays into that, just don't worry about it. Like it is not that big of a deal. Like you are more important and your life outside of this is more important than what we have going on during the day to day. And that made me feel really good. And even just barely, I have the flexibility too where we have to take breaks during the day, but if I don't take it, I can then stack it on another day. I just barely got back from the gym. So that was really nice. Right before this, I was at the gym. I took my gym stuff and then I came back over and now I'm working again. But I feel balanced because I was able to take care of my physical and mental health and then come back here and finish out the day.
I love that. That's awesome. I have also had managers that have been like so great, and they're always just like, prioritize yourself, worry about that
Yes.
first, like work comes second, which is like such a crazy thing, honestly, for a manager to say. Because I
Yeah.
feel like there's like the stereotype that managers are very like, oh no, like you have to like
Hmm.
get your work done, like work comes first. And maybe that is true for some companies, but I haven't personally had a manager here that's like, that has that mindset, which
Yeah.
I love. I remember being pregnant and my manager was literally like, if you ever just are tired and need to like take a nap, like that's
Hmm.
totally fine. Just like clock out, log out, whatever,
Yes.
take a nap, and then come, start working again when you feel better. And I'm just like, that's so awesome. Because yeah, as when you're 9 months pregnant, you're super
Yeah.
tired. So it's so like reassuring to feel like your manager's like on your side and not
Yeah.
like against you.
Agreed.
That's awesome. Um, so when you applied to Helpside, I'm curious. First, like, what did that look like? Like, did you just find Helpside like on LinkedIn? Was it through a connection? And then also, like, what made you say yes to wanting to work at Helpside?
When I applied to Helpside, I did go through LinkedIn, and the process was actually amazing. I think it was during the time, I don't know what was going on in the work field, but I was applying to places and I was not hearing back from like anyone for anything. And that was super frustrating for me, especially wanting to work and not hearing back from employers. Helpside was actually the first one I think that got back to me within like a reasonable time frame. It was like a day or two later, which was super helpful. And instantly I was able to then be worked with because I remember too, in between this time, I was traveling for various things and I let them know, hey, like I would love to do a phone call interview with you, but I'm gonna need, like I'll be doing this at this time and this and this time. They worked with me every step of the way, which was super helpful. And then once it was time for the in-person interviews, I was also gonna be out of town and they were like, we'll make it work. We'll extend it for another week. You can come back even after we've shut down interviews. And so they were still giving me an equal opportunity, even though it wasn't within the time frame they had originally allotted the job opening for. And I just felt like just from that experience alone, I was like, they really care about me. Like, I'm not even an employee, but but it
That's
was
awesome.
nice that I felt like I was also being cared about. And like, as an individual, they wanted to give me every opportunity to prove myself and to come in and like make sure that I was presenting myself. And it was awesome. As soon as that happened, it was just a really smooth process. And the whole step of the way, I felt like I was truly valued as an individual even before I was an employee.
That's awesome. I love that. Do you feel like that's kind of what helped you say yes? Or was there something specific that you were like, oh no, I just like looked at the benefits package or whatever, and you were like, that was an automatic yes? Or was it just kind of the overall, like, did it just start with the whole hiring process for you?
I think it started with the hiring process, but then it started to trickle to other things. And especially like when I came in here for the first day where they like walked me through and gave me a tour, Literally, we didn't go through one department that didn't announce themselves and be like, oh my gosh, hi, welcome, like we're so excited. Like everyone was just overwhelmingly friendly to the point that I was like, this doesn't happen ever these days. And that was really great. And then also now that I've been here a little bit longer, realizing just how much Helpside has offered its employees, I've never been treated better. Especially because my husband works as a server and I feel like servers don't really get appreciated. I'm like, you need to find somewhere like Helpside, somewhere that like truly does appreciate you, make sure that their employees know how well they're being taken care of. Like we have so many things just because of this job that his company could never. So that's super helpful.
Kind of going back off of the last question I asked you,
Okay.
What surprised you once you actually started working at Helpside?
Something that surprised me working at Helpside, it does kind of play in my last answer where I just was so surprised at how much a company will really put in to show appreciation for their employees. And I've never had any company show me appreciation the way that Helpside has. I remember when I worked at my last company, we got like a $10 gift card to Starbucks on our 1 year or something like that, which for what they could do, I was very grateful. But coming to Helpside, I remember when I hit like my 1 year and like my birthday and like all these other different big moments for me, Helpside celebrated every single one of them. It was like, okay, we're going out to lunch, and the whole team went out to get lunch. And it was like, don't worry about clocking out. Like, this is on us. We just want you to adjust for other days. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then it was like, with all the different company parties we have and the different things that they give us to show us that they really do care, I've never had anything like that. And I feel so grateful for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love the company parties that they have. They're always fun. And it's like, I feel like my husband will have company parties like once every 2 years. Like they're not common at all or like frequent.
Yeah.
We have them like twice a year, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that how many we have? And
in between the different holiday things too. Like we have different holiday things.
Yes. And yeah, my husband's, they're just like, I don't know, they're just not as fun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to the Hale Center Theater and we're going to go watch Beauty and the Beast. And it's like just so fun. Or go to a hockey game. Like, I feel like you do a really good job of like picking fun activities where you can just like hang out with your coworkers and get to know them. So that's awesome.
I do have one more too that I think was a big one that I didn't realize how big it was until talking to other family members. So I am turning 26 this year. And I've been on my parents' benefits forever. But now that I'm turning 26, I really have to start thinking about my own. And so I remember telling my parents like, oh yeah, this job also offers like 100% paid benefits for me and whoever my dependents are. And my parents were both like, you should never leave. They were like, that's unheard of. It does not happen. And in this day and age with the raising rates and everything, they were like, this is amazing. You need to make sure that you hold on to that. And so now that I'm starting to transition to being like an adult supreme, I guess you could call it, it is something that I need to really worry about. And it's something that I'm so grateful for because it's not something that I ever have to have on my radar.
I love that you mentioned that because I had a similar experience when I started working here. I remember my mom, who has worked, you know, her whole life, and she was like, oh, so like how much do you have to pay a month for your health insurance? And I was like, nothing. They cover it. She was like, what? And I didn't know. Like I mean, I remember thinking like, oh yeah, like that's so cool, but like maybe that's common. And my mom was like, yeah, no, that just like your parents, like that never happens. And so they were like, that's so awesome that you like work for a company that's like going to cover that because they're like, that's expensive. Like that adds up really quick. And so I was like, yeah, that is pretty awesome. So hence why my husband again is on my plan because it's like, we can just save money that way. So yes, I love that they really put their employees first in that aspect. I'm like, that is very unique that they do that. So, how do you feel like this job fits into your life right now where you're at?
That's a good question. I feel like this job fits into where I'm at right now in the sense that it has completely changed everything I want to do with my career. Something that's really cool that Helpside's offering me at this point in time, now that I am an HR business partner, is they're helping me further my career in the sense that they're paying for my SHRM and they're helping me get that certification, which is huge. And it's going to continue to just catapult me into more and more knowledge, more and more opportunities, and I feel very grateful for that.
That's awesome. I didn't know that they like covered that. That's so cool.
Yeah, they
And
cover everything. Yeah, and they do the training and everything, so that's a huge blessing because it is a pretty penny. And they are taking that on.
Yeah, no, I love that because all that really does is benefit you at the end of the day. And so I love that they're willing to help kind of, yeah, like you mentioned, kind of progress your career and help you. So that's awesome. We kind of touch on flexibility a little bit, but kind of digging in deeper, what does flexibility actually mean to you while you're working? And then are there any like boundaries that you've set to kind of help have a flexible like work life?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I'd say not just from a day-to-day, but an example from this summer is there was an opportunity for my husband and I to move to Chicago because of an internship that he had. And I remember approaching my HR director and communicating that this was something that we were probably going to do together and he wasn't going to go alone. And then he was like, well, the good news is you can do everything that you do here remote. And that was huge for us because I didn't have to be separated from my husband for 3 or 4 months. And I had flexibility to go out there and do the job remote. And they had full faith in me to get it done. And it was such a blessing for the two of us because that was a flexibility I didn't even know was offered until I asked about it. And then they gave me that. And then I feel like from a day-to-day point of view, the flexibility that I received to just, they trust that I'm going to get my work done and they trust that I'm going to communicate with my clients to the best of my ability within the time frame that they've given me. I have free reign. And I love that. I can take my breaks when I want to. I can maybe forego a break one day and do twice the amount of time the next day, especially also from like a remote hybrid schedule, depending on if I need to work from home that day. There's just so much understanding within the flexibility that I appreciate.
Yes. No, I totally agree. I just feel like I'm being treated like an adult when I work here, like at Helpside, which is nice because yes, it's like you don't ever want to like be micromanaged, and if you're getting your work done, then you just want to be like you just want your manager to trust you.
Yeah.
At least until that trust is broken, right?
Yes.
And so I love that they do that because I feel like some managers approach work with like, well, no, like you have to earn my trust. But it's like, okay, why can't you just like already trust me from the beginning?
Yeah.
And I do feel like the managers here do such a good job. And they're very like understanding of if things happen in your life, then they're willing to like adjust, which is great because all of their employees are bound to have something happen, right?
Yeah.
So,
we're human.
yes, exactly. Let's see. So, when do you feel like it clicked that benefits actually mattered?
I'd say now, especially
Yeah.
because I am going to be 26 this year. So benefits matter a lot. I will be kicked off my parents' plan in October, which is a huge deal. And again, I don't have to worry about it because I know I'm covered. Right now, I'm double insured, which is super convenient because the second that I am kicked off, I don't even have to worry about it. I already have insurance somewhere. So benefits are a big deal in the sense that I'm never going to go without.
No, that's awesome. And kind of a follow-up question to that, do you feel like the benefits kind of help you to not have to choose between your career and like your future family? Do you feel like they kind of set you up for success to prioritize both of them?
Yes, I definitely think that the benefits set me up for success for my family currently and in the future, especially because, again, it's just not something I ever have to really worry about. I already know that they're going to be covered. I know that the coverage is great. I've used it already, and it's been a huge help, and it's never, ever been something that I really have to think twice about.
Yes. Yeah, I think for me, the first time that I realized how important benefits were was when I did have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
I really am not super knowledgeable about benefits, but Steve Anderson, he was like very willing to just like explain things to me, even if I had
Yeah.
like a dumb question. And he was like, no, like I'm totally fine to just explain everything. Because yeah, when having a baby, things get a little bit more complicated and
Yeah.
you're really then diving into your benefits and you're like, okay, like what do they cover? What do they not cover? And I remember like when I was pregnant, there was like pregnancy is so just like unpredictable. You just
Yeah.
never know what can happen. And I ended up having complications in my pregnancy. And
Oh
so that kind of
gosh.
made me have to like go to the hospital more frequent, but I never had to to like think to myself, okay, well, can I afford to go to the hospital and get looked at?
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I knew that my benefits were so good that they would help cover that. So I never had
Mm-hmm.
to balance my baby and my baby's well-being and my well-being and money, which was
Mm-hmm.
like something that I feel like is very rare because I feel like oftentimes it's more like, okay, well, I just like I literally can't afford to go to like
Yeah.
this extra appointment that I know is going to be like an unexpected thing, you know? But
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I got my like bills back for the hospital and it was like the delivery alone was like $30,000 and I was like that
Oh
didn't
my
even include
gosh.
anything else, right? Like that was just the delivery and my delivery was uncomplicated standard delivery.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh, wow. Like thank goodness for benefits and thank goodness for good benefits because I mean that would have I mean I'm thinking it would have been like a $60,000 or maybe more. I really have no
Mm-hmm.
idea because I didn't even have to like look at it super, you
Yeah.
know. I didn't have to like sit there and think like, okay, like what all are they charging me for? Because I
Mm-hmm.
knew that with my benefits plan, I was like, oh, I'm chilling. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
pay this deductible and that's it. That's kind of all I have to worry about. And so I really appreciated that when I was pregnant
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, you never know what's going to happen and you never want to have to just think about money versus your baby or versus yourself and your
Yeah.
health. And I think a lot of people do have to think about that and they're like, okay, but we like literally can't afford to go to this extra doctor appointment or I
Mm-hmm.
can't afford to go get looked at if something feels off. But I really do appreciate having good benefits because I didn't have to think twice. It was just like, oh, something feels off, immediate
Yeah.
hospital visit, right?
Yeah.
And I love that because now that I do have a child, I can be the same way with her. I mean, she literally just like had
Mm.
the flu and I was like, oh my gosh, like she has a fever. And I was like, she's so little, like, can she even have fevers? And then the doctor was like, yeah, I'd probably take her in. And like, I just took her in. Like, I didn't have to think about, like, well, can we afford this bill? Is our, you know,
Mm-hmm.
our benefits gonna cover it? It's just like, yes, like I can take her in, I can have that
Yeah.
peace of mind. So I love that. It's like a huge reason why I like stay at Helpside because I'm like,
Yeah.
the benefits are so good.
It's
So,
so much of a peace of mind,
mhm.
especially for situations like that. That's a huge peace of mind, especially because those bills without those benefits are like detrimental to a young
Oh yeah.
couple.
Oh yeah.
Detrimental.
I mean, I know people that are just in debt for life
Yeah.
because of hospital bills and things like that. And so it's just like, ugh, like to be in a position where you're in a ton of debt and you can't pay things off or you can't just go get your annual checkups or if you
Hmm.
just feel like something's wrong, you just can't afford to go to the hospital. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
it just sucks. So I love that we don't really have to worry about that too much. And like
Hmm.
obviously if you and your husband start a family, right? Like
Hmm.
now you know
Yeah.
you'll be you'll be fine.
We'll be
So,
good.
uh-huh, exactly. Um, what are you learning about yourself in this role and how does success look different now than it used to?
Ooh. Something that I'm learning about myself is just how much I can really take on. Because I feel like, at least when I started this role, it was so overwhelming with all the different knowledge that was kind of thrown my way. But I have amazing, amazing supervisors that have just had so much faith in me, honestly, more faith than I've had in myself, that have just been like, you can do this, and we're gonna give you this, and you have all the resources at your at your back, or whatever it's called, at your hands. You have all the resources available to you, and you can utilize them, and we will be there to support you 100%. And so that has very much been just amazing, and I feel so grateful for that, because I really didn't think I was capable of taking on so much, but I am. And I'm learning as I go, and the amount of knowledge that I'm getting and the support that I'm getting has been so helpful.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. What do you want your next season of life to kind of look like?
Oh, that's a great question.
And do you feel like you would see yourself like still working? Like, do you want to continue to have a career? Or are you more like, this is kind of a right now thing, and then like we'll see where it goes?
Yeah, so the conversations that I've had with my husband about like our next phases of life, we've talked about it. There's so many different things, because there's so many different, we're just two single people, or not single, but we're just two people right now trying to figure out the world for ourselves. We think we might want to start a family in the future. Not right now, but maybe in the next season of life. I think we're going to start with a dog first. But
Love that.
if we do end up having a family, we have talked about it, especially in terms of my career, because I also do really enjoy working. I love my job. I love Helpside. I love everything about here. And it's been really cool to see people like you and like our other employees, like Isabel, for instance, who've been able to do both, where you've been able to be a parent, but then also still continue to provide and support for your family in a different way. And I've always loved that, because I've never felt like that's going to be an obstacle in my future, especially while working at Helpside. Like, I will have flexibility to do both if that's something that I decide to do.
Yes. And I feel like what you just said is so important. And it's something that not a lot of women have the opportunity to do. Like, I feel like a lot of companies, if they have a mom that also wants to work, it's not super easy to do both. Like, you kind of have to choose one or the other, or you have to like send your kid to daycare and then you have to go into the office, which is totally fine if that's what people need to do or want to do. But I totally agree with you. I mean, I think I always told myself the reason I got the degree that I got was because I was like, in marketing and something like that, there's probably a lot more remote opportunities. And if I'm going to like raise my kids, like it would be nice to have something that's remote, that's flexible.
Yeah.
That way I can do both. But then when I obviously then became a mom, I was like, oh, like this is actually going to be hard. Like it's going to be hard to work, and then it's going to be hard to have a baby. That's how I felt on maternity leave, at least. And then I did actually start working, and my manager has been amazing. She's just like, I understand that you have a baby, your life looks different now, get your work done, but like you can still take your baby to an appointment if you need to. Like she understands that, like, okay, but I also understand that your life isn't just work. And so I love that, because yes, it makes it possible. And I think as a woman, it's so important to like have a career and to like have your own money. Like it even just feels good to like have your own money.
Yes, it's true.
If you buy something, you don't have to like ask your husband, but it's like, hey, I work too. Or like I even mentioned before, like just having my husband under my benefits or having my child under my benefits. Like I think that's so cool too, to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna add my daughter to my health insurance. And like that feels like a big thing, because it's like I work hard so that she can have good benefits and like things like that. So I just think that I think it's so awesome for a woman to have the opportunity to like work and be a mom if that's what they want to do. And I do feel like you said, Helpside allows you to do that. And they understand that like your whole entire life isn't work, but you have family and you have other things that are a priority. So that's awesome. What do you feel like you would tell someone in a similar life stage that's looking for work?
Oh my gosh, the amount of my friends that I have tried to get work here is ridiculous. Like, I'm serious. The amount of people that I'm like, I wish you would just come to a company like mine. I mean, even my husband, who like doesn't really get appreciated, I'm like, please, please, please find somewhere that really does value you as an individual and continues to show you that they value you, and then also expects you to be a human and have things come up, basically. Especially because I feel like in other jobs, they're not as forgiving about life circumstances, and they're not as appreciative, or they don't necessarily show it in the same way. And I feel like everyone should have that, because in my opinion, I feel like it's basic human decency. And Helpside has gone above and beyond to do that for us, whereas it's not necessarily as common elsewhere.
Yes, I love that. That's awesome. Okay, so how is working at Helpside setting you up for life in ways that a typical retail or entry-level job wouldn't? And are you thinking about things like 401k or health savings differently now?
Ooh, yeah. Okay. Setting me up differently, I'd say just in the sense that they're already investing in me by helping me progress my career, offering to pay for certain certifications to keep me going. I've even been told in some of my things, like, if Helpside is not your forever, we want to make sure that we are going to be the best stepping stone to get you to where you want to go. And I think that's really cool too, because they're like, we don't want to lock you in forever if this is not your forever. Yeah. But if there is something, like, we want to help you get there. And so we will invest in you to help you do that. And I think that's amazing, because you're not necessarily locked into anything, but you know you'll always have support whether or not you want to continue. And then I also feel like, from a standpoint of, the 401k and savings, I knew nothing about a 401k. I knew nothing about anything like that before this. And then getting all the information of, like, this is what's offered to you. You have so many different opportunities given to you, even with like an FSA and an HSA. And then they give you that knowledge if you're totally unaware of any of it. And you have so many resources. Like, we have Steve Anderson, like you were saying, who will answer all of my questions, even if they sound stupid to myself. They're never going to take them that way. And I just feel like I have a better foundation for my future, knowing that I have all of these backups and these options, especially for a 401k. I have one now. I didn't have one previously, but now when I look in my bank account, I'm like, dang, I'm good. Like, I'm doing good.
Yeah.
My future is going to be set for when I'm like 50 or 60. It'll be great.
Yes. No, I totally agree. I love that they not only help you like now where you're at in life, but also like your future self, which I just think is like so awesome. And kind of like what you mentioned in just kind of helping you out. I've had 2 different managers since working at Helpside, and both of them have talked to me and they're like, so what do you want to do? Like, what are things that you're interested in, and what are roles and responsibilities that you find interesting? And then they help me so that is the majority of my tasks and like what I do. And I think that that's so awesome, because they're not just like, oh yeah, so like, here's everything you need to do, here's everything I need help with, like, just do it. They genuinely want to know if it's something I'm interested in and if it's something that's actually going to help my career. And I just think that that's so cool, because I've worked at other places before, and they're not like that. Like, it's just kind of like, here's your to-do list, just do it and don't complain. Versus at Helpside, it's very much like, hey, we want to make sure that we're helping you in your career, so let us know what things you're interested in.
Oh, 100%. I feel like that was through and through, and you helped with this over the summer too. We did these things called like these little mini passion projects, and they were like, what do you want to do? What are you passionate about? What's going to make you happy? Especially because it was a little bit slower. We had some downtime, and they were like, we want you to pick a project that you feel passionate about, like, and go for it. And because I'm a psychology major, I was like, I'd love to maybe do an article. Like, publish an article would be really cool, and it'd be fun to put on my resume. Like, I would feel very accomplished by that. And they were like, boom, here's everything you need. Like, take these resources, run with them, and we'll help you get published. And then I sent everything over to you. You went through everything. It was so cool. And then to see my article on a page for the company with my name, it was so amazing. I was like, this is crazy. I'm gonna frame this. This is awesome.
I love that. That's awesome. I know. Helpside, they just take such good care of their employees. It's great. Does having the peace of mind that your healthcare and your life stuff are handled, do you feel like it makes you a better partner or a better friend outside of work?
Yes, 100%. Especially because there's not anything crazy with my husband, but he does take ADHD medication. And it can be so expensive. I've seen the difference between what it would cost if we don't have insurance versus what we would pay having insurance. And it is a huge difference. It's significant. And that's not something that will just go away. That'll be for the rest of his life. We will be paying for that. And so it will be a lifelong thing. And knowing that we won't have to really worry about the crazy heightened cost based on not having insurance versus having insurance is a huge peace of mind going forward.
I love that. When I had my baby, I had to get her induced 3 weeks early because I got high blood pressure towards the end of my pregnancy, which was like so just random. It literally happened at week 35, and then I had her at week 37. So it was like a super quick turnaround. But being postpartum, like it's already hard enough, but I had to get on some medication. And that was one thing is like when you have a baby, like there's already so much to stress about, and I had to take medication for 9 weeks, and I had to get refilled. I think it was only like, it wasn't like a very long, like, I don't even know what the word is. Like the refill
prescription.
Yeah, like the prescription, that was like really quick. And so I remember being like, ugh, like, I wonder how much this is going to cost. Like, that's annoying that we like now have to pay for this medication, but it was covered. And I was like, that's amazing. Cause that's just like one less thing you have to stress about, right? When you have a baby and you're having high blood pressure and now you have to get medication, and I was on 2 different meds. So it was just so nice to be like, oh, it's covered. I don't have to worry about it. And so I loved that. And so, yeah, I mean, that's one thing that's nice is I feel like it helps you just stress less, you know, about reoccurring payments or reoccurring medical things that you know you're gonna have to deal with. You don't have to stress about it coming out of your pocket. So that's awesome. And then to the girls graduating this year who are only looking at the salary number, why do you think that they should be looking at the total business proposition, as Rick Bartholomew said, instead?
I would say to this one, not everything's about necessarily the money. It's also about like the quality of life. Like you can go get a job that's paying you 6 figures and you're miserable. Like you will go into work every day dreading it and you will leave every day feeling awful. Or you can take the different route and go for something that's going to genuinely change your life for the better. And you're never going to have to worry about work. You're never going to have to wake up stressed. You're not going to have nightmares about your workload the next day. You're going to have so much peace of mind knowing like your benefits are being taken care of. You have all of these opportunities because the company really wants to invest in you as an individual. There's just so many different things. I could write a pros cons list, but I feel like those are some of the main key points of the difference between the two.
Yes, I love that. I agree. I think your mental health is always going to be more important than how much money you're getting paid. And that's another thing about being a mom and working. It's like, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it at a company that didn't care about me, you know, and they're just like, well, your work will always come first.
Yeah.
So I love that. I think it's so important for people to prioritize benefits, to prioritize their mental health, good managers, a good company culture. I think it's so important for them to prioritize that instead of the salary, because I actually have a friend and she definitely gets paid more than I do, but like she hates her job. She's just like, I dread it every single day. I have to go into this office and it's very like formal, you know, I have to go in and like a dress every day, and just like even little things like that where it's like, oh, it helps that you can be casual, like, and comfortable. Even just little things like that, I feel like are important because she can't do that. And then, at the end of the day, like her manager, she's one of, I don't know, 20 people on the team. So it's like her manager doesn't really care about her specifically. It's like, in fact, she's told me the only time her manager reaches out to her is to be like, why didn't you get this done? Or like critiquing things that she's done.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's just such a bummer, because I feel like any manager I've ever had at Helpside, it's very like, we talk every day, and it can be casual conversation, but like they know kind of like where I'm at in life. Like they know me. And so I feel like that's so important, because yes, it's just like, things like that matter so much more than like the salary or how much you're gonna get paid. So that's awesome. Well, I appreciate you being on this podcast with me. We had some great conversation. I think it's just so important to tell people what an awesome company Helpside is, because it really is such a good company for clients, but also for like the employees that work there.
Yeah.
It's great. So
I know
really do.
everyone's jealous of my job. Anytime my husband and I tell people, they're like, "Where do you work? What do you do?" And I tell them about everything. They're like, "I'm so jealous." I'm like, "You should be.
Yeah.
You should be."
Yeah. No, it's an awesome company for sure. I love working here, and it's just funny because like I've been here for over 3 years, but I'm
Yeah.
like, I remember I always thought that like, oh, in your 20s, like that's the time to like switch jobs, switch, what companies you're working at and stuff like that. Like, I feel like when I talk to other people, they're like, oh yeah, I worked at like 10 different places between 20 and 30
Yes.
years old. But it's just funny because I've already spent the first over 3 years just being at one company, and then
Yeah.
I don't see why I would leave. And so it's just funny because I do feel like most people don't really stay at a certain company until they're a little bit older, maybe like
Yeah.
in their 30s, 40s, something like that. But it's really cool to already be working at like your first company and being like, well, I don't really see myself wanting to leave here, because the time I've been at Helpside, my husband, I think, has been at like 3 different companies. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you just need to come work over here. So,
That is something I was also shocked about, was like the retention rate. I'm like hearing people and they're like, "I've been here for 20 years. I've been here for
yeah.
15 years." I was like, that's
Yeah.
unheard of. I don't think I've been in a job where majority of the people have been there for longer than maybe a year or two. Like
Exactly.
it's so in and out, and the turnover rate is crazy, where I'm like, these people are like an extension of family. They have
Yeah.
been with each other for so many years.
Yes. No, I totally agree. My sister works in sales, and she's like, she also has just been working in so many different companies over even just the past like 6 months.
Uh-huh.
And I remember telling her, I was like, at Helpside, they have salespeople that have been here, that have been working at Helpside for like years and years. And I'm just like, that's so crazy, because even in sales where turnover is so high, it's like, no, like their salespeople literally are still there. And I'm just like, that's just, I mean, sales has got to be one of the jobs with like the highest turnover rate, right? But
Yeah.
not at Helpside. And so I'm just like, that's just so cool that even sales, like those people have been here for a while. But yeah, it is crazy. I'm like, I feel like 3.5 years is like a decent amount of time to like be working at a company. And then I talk to someone and I'm like, oh, you've been here for 18 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Like, I'm a baby compared to you.
Exactly. But yeah, no, this was such a good conversation. It was so fun to like get to know you a little bit more.
Thank you for letting me join you. I was super surprised you guys picked me, but I was also flattered. I was like, this will be fun.
Talking with Tannen today makes one thing clear. The best workplaces don't just offer jobs, they evolve with you. Helpside works for who we are now because it understands that people grow, careers shift, priorities change, and the right company makes space for that evolution. At Helpside, we don't just manage payroll and compliance, we help create environments where people can do their best work in the stage of life they're actually in. If you want to learn more about building a people-first infrastructure that grows with you, head to helpside.com and schedule a consultation. Let's build something that works, not just for your business goals, but for the people behind them. Thanks for joining us on It's Personnel. We'll see you next time.